all started when I sneaked into Sera Plaza, a shopping mall that was suddenly closed in 1998 and never opened again. Rumor had it that the building was evacuated due to a collapse in its foundation. But when I went down to the ground floor with my camera, I found a stairwell that never existed in the architectural plans. The stairs led down, even beneath the parking lot, into deep darkness. 3 floors underground, I pushed open a rusty steel door and found an old broadcast room. The dozens of CRT TVs inside were unplugged, but the moment I stepped into the room, they all turned on at the same time, emitting a blinding static broadcast. The static on the TVs gradually turned into a whisper. I took a VHS tape lying on the desk, labeled simply "monitoring," and inserted it into the main player. The image that appeared on the screen made my blood run cold. The camera angle showed exactly where I was standing right now. I saw myself from behind on the screen, but behind the me on the tape, in the dark corner of the room, a tall, faceless shadow was reaching out to me. I spun around in panic. The room was empty. Breathless, I ran towards the stairs I had come from. But the door no longer opened to the parking lot I knew. I found myself in an impossible, windowless, never-ending hallway lit by harsh fluorescent lights, with yellowing walls. The architecture folded in on itself. Every corner I turned right led me back to the exact same hallway. I ran through those hallways for hours, maybe days. Just as my camera battery was about to die, a familiar door appeared at the end of the hall. When I opened it, I was back in that broadcast room. But this time, there was no static on the monitors. Each of the screens showed a different house in the outside world, a different room, sleeping people. One screen was even recording my own room, my empty bed. The red light of an old microphone in the center of the control panel turned on. A single sentence appeared on the main screen. New broadcaster verified. Broadcast starting. Sera Plaza hadn't swallowed me. It just needed a new vessel, a new voice to transmit this frequency to the outside world. And now, that voice... As the microphone's red light blinked, the air in the room suddenly turned ice cold. I didn't want to speak, but it felt like an invisible hand was wrapped around my throat. I had to whisper just to breathe. Is anyone there? Just 3 words. As soon as I said those words, the sleeping people in those different houses on the monitors all stopped breathing at the exact same time. They got out of their beds with their eyes closed and slowly stood in front of the turned-off TVs in their rooms. None of them moved. They just stared at the static screens. Whatever I said was being whispered into their minds through that frequency. I tried to pull the main breaker to shut the system down, but the levers were rusted shut. At that moment, something happened on monitor number 4. The man on the screen wasn't just looking at the TV. He raised his hand and touched his own screen from the inside. His face pressed against the glass of the monitor in my room, from the inside. A distorted, blurred, and horrifying face. He wasn't looking at his TV at home. He was looking directly at me, into the broadcast room. I saw his lips move, and through the speakers in the room, I heard the whisper of my own voice. "We see you." The monitors began to crack, one by one. A thick black liquid was leaking into the room from the fractures. The figures on those screens were no longer just on the broadcast. They were trying to cross over into the room, into my world. In a panic, I ripped the main tape, the one with only a date written on it, from its deck on the desk. When I tore the cables out, the room plunged into pitch darkness. but the monitors still glowed in a blood-curdling way. As tall, dark silhouettes stepped out from inside the screens, I blindly threw myself into the darkness, towards the infinite hallway I had come from. I don't know how long I ran through those hallways. When I opened my eyes, I was in the parking lot outside Sera Plaza. The sun was rising. Everything looked normal. But when I returned home and transferred the camera footage to my computer, I realized the truth. The camera hadn't recorded me running into the parking lot. It had recorded me in that broadcast room, my face pressed against the screen, smiling into the darkness. The thing that came back here wasn't me. It was the frequency itself. I am uploading this video to show you what was inside that tape. If you hear a faint static from the screens in your house tonight, do not turn around. The broadcast never ended. It just changed channels.